Good evening, folks. This is Craig Lane Video Blog Day 15. Um, the query today is, how does one sort of live out feeling at the bottom of the valley? And so keeping it kind of short is um, listen on for the answer. So this is day 15, and uh, coffee was on my mind again today. There's a consciousness that's dying inside of our guts when we change. That terrain is being replaced, and so here's a whiteboard. Let's start it right off with a demonstration. So the lining of our body, our linings, like here's our big tube, and then there's a lining, in the intestines, for example. And so all this in here is the muscle, and then inside here is the tube, so the food's passing through here. And then there'll be a layer of, we'll put it in green. So then there's a layer of film over this, and we call that our biofilm. And it's living from our mouth to our anus. There's this living layer of sort of like kefir or slime, that ideally, that's what we look at the tongue, and it's covering all this. And so if you've got, let's do something in red that might be a pathogen. So if you have an area here, actually, let's do a rot, a really gnarly looking green. So there's an area of rot over here. We'll say maybe there's a diverticula here that formed in these two parts of the intestines, pinched off, and there's some rot in here. And so we want to make sure we get this rot taken care of, but we want to get this biofilm out. And so whatever this rot is right here, it has a consciousness, and it's feeding like everything. No one's a victim, and we get this victim mentality. But so inside me, I know that that's dying. Long story short, I'm well aware of it, that the transitory states of suicidal ideations are something I just have to contend with because I'm sensitive. And if one goes with the premise that just the question, not a bypass, because it really runs into bypass, it's dangerous. Just the question, is this mine or is this transitory? And it's passing, it's part of a transitory thing. And that's the danger of cleansing down to the point of fasting, is when my body, let's speak of I statement, when my body doesn't have food in it, other people are just, I'm more other people in the environment than I am myself. And when I'm eating more, like I did my pulses the other day, and it's a classic, when you know pulses, like I'm not an expert, okay, but I'm 20 years into it, 25 years into it, and I can say, I'd consider myself where I could communicate with someone who's an expert, but no way would I dare to say I know the 28 pulses and how they tie in with the Tai Yin and the Tai Yangs and the, no. But I know enough to say, when you're hungry, your pulses are smaller, and when you're full, your pulses are bigger, and your pulses represent your chi. So the pulse has a depth, like up on the surface, and it has a width and a strength. And so what I look at is, I just keep it very simple for myself, is okay, it's deeper, it's narrower, and it doesn't feel as strong as it normally is. That's the value of doing stuff like this, is if you know your health baseline with someone like me, that's what I'm developing and offering to the world is, here's your health baseline. It doesn't cost much. And then if you go out of balance, like in that cell owner's manual, we talked about the last few days, you see the stages of degeneration, and his is from the cell level and how it shows in the macro. But you could also start in the macro and say, if you see this, like, see that yesterday, I hit my head going surfing on my car door, and a little bit manic and a little bit jittery because it was a heavy crowd, and I hadn't surfed in a while, but decided I was going to ride my short board, which is something that just I find more enjoyable than the longer boards. So I still like to quote rip, but there was no ripping yesterday. It was more like, so this happened, and then I could say to myself, well, that's on the bladder meridian. That's the bladder meridian there, and so that's the nervous system meridian more than any of the others, if you see, relatively so. And it's about halfway up my head, and so it's like, why was that part drawn to the door? If you look at it as not being a victim, some of my teachers were like, you hit yourself. I mean, I've hit my head weekly, monthly, and so anyways, there was contending with that. And I went off on a way long tangent here. So take it all back just to, I think it's going to reel it back in. So once I get going, I get started on this channel, and this, like today, we're going to keep it really short and curt. So contending with it meant for me then a bottom of the valley, like getting out and exercising yesterday, getting out in the sun. We had a week straight of fog here in Santa Cruz. And so it's weird to say I have seasonal affective disorder, you know, when it's still warm everywhere else and sunny, but that was starting to. And so that's part of the, you know, what happens is, you know, there's not as much light. We're back in the darkness. And when we're in the darkness and the silence, then awareness starts to churn. And to the bottom of the valley was get yourself moving. Today I did yoga, took a nap when needed, kept my word, and I was accountable to my word, and take my lumps when I'm off, because I'm like, I pulled up anchor and I'm out in the middle of the sea. I don't know where I am for a long time. So I find refuge when there's the bottom of the valley. For me, is the refuge is always the present moment, and it's just coming back, and then it's coming back, and then it's coming back, and so you know, there's all the physicality, but in the end, there's just us in relationship. And then in the end, for me, I don't want relationship. I actually want the ultimate desire of someone in my position is just to be present. Because say, what's your goal in life? My goal in life is to be completely present with what I'm doing right now. And then when that's done, to be completely present with the person coming here in a little while. And then tomorrow, I'll be completely present with what I'm doing tomorrow, even if it doesn't feel good, because the feeling good part, again, there's a mean and other at that point, right? And that's out of the flow of what I've been working on for 10 to 12 years. This is my last conversation with Adyashanti. Oh, come on in, Ellie. You can come in. I'm just finishing up a video blog, and you could actually laugh at me for the last part here. The theme today is the bottom. What are you doing at the bottom of the valley? The feeling, you know, like, what do you do? And so many people can relate to that right now, you know, like, so yeah, have a seat, and I can edit this out later, but it's just a video blog anyways. So this is one of my friends, and like I said, the goal is to be present with what I'm doing. So, you know, like, that's the danger of being totally present, though, because if you don't have the discernment, then my teacher talks about, you know, if you have a lot of heart and you're present with what you're doing, but you have no discernment upstairs about your boundaries, then you end up, he calls them stupid saints. You're a stupid saint. You give away everything to everybody else. You have no discernment upstairs of your boundaries. You're a shriveled raisin at the end of the day, and you wonder why, because you gave yourself away. And that's sort of what, you know, if the head runs stuff, then everything's dry and robotic. And if the heart runs stuff without the head, then danger. And if the guts run everything, the existential self runs everything, then I'm on that right now. It was so helpful. Oh my God, I'm out of the valley. But then it's like, the dose is important, because I'm talking about kratom, folks. That's one of the, kratom is dangerous because it's another palliative mood enhancer that is very similar to a caffeine. And this is the Kona kratom. You better give me a commission for plugging you. I am an influencer, you know. I'm cashing those cards a little bit. So I'm going to keep it sort of like that today. I promised in the newsletter I'd keep it short. And so just a quick screen share to finish this off today. So what do you do at the bottom of the valley? You know, that's the query. And so what I do is I also process through writing. So like, here's the email going out to the group, and see there's an image, and that image is worth 1,000 words, because you're at the top of the mountain looking down. And after the kratom, that's how I feel right now. Oh, I'm not down there anymore, but it's a bypass. It's like, oh, I get a ticket upstairs. Oh shit. Consequences. There's physical consequences later. So how do I live aligned with the, so we're going to end today actually with this little, you can hear it too, Ellie, water and stone. So if you go to this water and stone right here, sorry, here it is. It's going to make me download it now. It worked fine earlier. Oh, because I'm on Zoom. It doesn't like that. All right. Sorry, folks. I'll just read to you what I have, the line I have in here. Oh, Didn't even put the line in there. Yeah, it's not in here. So you're gonna have to watch the video earlier. And really the query in Taoism is, how does water always goes to the lowest place? And the last time I did a really strong facilitated psilocybin experience, um, I went to the lowest place I could find naturally. And who did I meet there on psilocybin mushrooms was Alan Watts in the lowest place. And that's what the voice in my head was saying, was just go lower. And so at the bottom, see, that's the most receptive or yin place, and the top is the most yang, because you're up in the sun and the moon are up here, the bodies of the grandfathers, and then down below. So it's management, and we're sort of in a scenario right now of, I'm not going to go through the examples and all that today, but I think that my offering today is, where do you find refuge? Okay, it's the present moment. All the practices that we do are meant to slow the apparatus down enough so consciousness can break through and you can be present. And that's really it. So the cleanse makes that more clear, but you need calories for the most part when you're out in public, because most of the people in the groups I hang out in are very empathic, and you got to be careful when you're fasting that we have good boundaries. And cleansing deeply. So that's the dance. We're kind of, those in my group that are doing this, that's what we're in. And success, no coffee again, fought it off today. Had 4 tea bags of black tea, no less, that got me through it. All right, folks, have a great day.